It's already too hot and it's not even summer yet. Good morning, Reptilians. Welcome back to my channel. So this week I wanted to do another more light video, I guess you would say, and I just kind of wanted to go around and update you on all of the animals. Apparently it's been 4 months since I did a feeding all of my animals video, so I thought that it was way overdue to go ahead and post one of these. And just to kind of make this video a little bit different from all the past all my animals videos, I'm gonna try to update the animals in the order that I got them. But before we get into the reptile keeping hobby, let's talk about my other favorite hobby, and that is video games. You guys know that I love playing games, so I was super excited when Raid Shadow Legends reached out to sponsor this video. You guys know that I love dark fantasy type games, and I have been having so much fun with this one. It's not the typical cartoony style RPG game. Look at those graphics. Those graphics are so good. This is a free-to-play game, and it's available on your phone or your computer. The links to download the game will all be in the description. But this game is awesome. There are 16 factions. There are orcs and barbarians and undead hordes, but you know that I love the lizard men. There's a lizard men faction, and that is wonderful. All of these heroes look so cool and so hardcore, but apparently in the story they are not good or bad. They just kind of want to be left alone. So a lot like a lot of reptiles in real life. And after only playing for about 15 minutes and reaching level 6, you can compete in tournaments, and they can give you rewards and rare artifacts. As you can see on the screen there, you can find me at Elle.622. Make sure that you quickly check out those links in the descriptions, because currently all new players are getting welcome packs that consist of 100,000 silver and an epic champion. Thank you so much to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video. Now that we've talked about the lizard men, let's go around and look at some of our lizards. So first off, we are talking about Sam as always. This is a picture of him the day I brought him home from the pound almost 9 years ago. He was super cute and still is super cute, and he basically still looks the same. He's just a lot fluffier, but he still has all that puppy energy, which is so awesome. Next up is Zaz. I have had Zaz the longest out of all the reptiles in my house. Look how much she's grown. She was so tiny, and now she's just this chunky little critter. And yeah, she is still the absolute sweetest, and the kids still take her out and hold her all the time, which is super cool. She is almost 4 years old, and yeah, you guys kind of see her all the time, so I feel like there's really not much left to say about her, so moving on. Next up is Sylvanas. Sylvanas is another one that has grown so much. I get so excited to do these kinds of videos just because it's so cool to see what they used to look like and how much they've grown, colors changing, and all of that. She lately has actually calmed down with her grumpiness. You guys know that she is super grumpy, but she hasn't really been hissing and stuff as much lately, which is cool. But yeah, you can see here she fit between his fingers, and now she takes up the whole tank and more. But that's about it for her. Next up is Percy. Percy's color has definitely changed the most out of any reptile in the house. Just look at that, from solid white and black to the yellows and spots and all the prettiness that you see. You guys know she did lose her tail and it grew back, but other than that, she's been fantastic. Nothing has really changed with her. She still loves to dig all the time, and she's still just Percy. On to Dexter. He was so tiny when I got him. Like, compared to now, he is chunky and he is just a grown-up gecko, and he's so cute. He's been doing really good. His tank has actually been doing really good too, except for that umbrella tree that I recently added. The other plants I just added are doing good, but that umbrella tree looked like it was doing good. It was growing new leaves and everything, and then it just kind of died one day. So that makes me sad because I love that umbrella tree. And he has also yet to use this globe that I put in there. I honestly don't think he knows how to get in there, but yeah, everything with him is going very good. Next up is Sterling. Sterling is going to actually be 5 years old next month, which is crazy. We did get him as an adult. That's why he's so old. Update on him, because I do still have people commenting on the vet blinded my ball python story and asking what happened with that. So he is still almost completely blind. He still has some vision in that one eye. The vet board actually sent me a letter a few months back asking how I felt about the decision that they made, and I hadn't heard anything. So I got back into contact with them, and when I called, they said that the letter was sent by mistake, that they haven't reached any decision yet, and that with all the COVID-19 stuff, things are being postponed. So we still haven't heard anything back about that or what's happening with that, unfortunately. I wish I had better news for you guys, but unfortunately it's still just waiting. Then we have the corn snake Wade. As I am filming this, his birthday is actually tomorrow, and he's also going to be 5 years old. He still has just as much energy as always, exploring, hunting, digging, burrowing. He is definitely the most active snake in this entire house, and he still looks for ways to escape all the time, so that's fun. But yeah, he's still doing good. Maui, my German Shepherd, is doing wonderfully too. Look how small he was with his dopey little paws. He is now bigger than Sam, unlike these pictures that you just saw. And yeah, not really much to update. They just like playing and attacking each other and chasing each other through the yard, and that's about it. On to my fish tank. So sad news about my fish tank. We no longer have it. If you guys remember the rope fish, the pride of my fish tank, unfortunately he did pass away a few months back. Somehow he managed to wedge his whole body into a small hole that was in a decoration in the fish tank that we didn't even know was there. It was a hole that was so small that his head by itself shouldn't have been able to fit in there. And one night we went to sleep, and sometime during the night he got himself in there and he got trapped. From what it had looked like from the bruising on his body, he came out and got trapped a second time on the way out. And so the moment we saw him the next morning, we quickly pulled him out and sawed open the decoration that he was stuck in. We got him out. He was coughing up blood and regurgitating his last meal. He seemed like he was getting better in that quarantine tank. He was actually making use of hides and swimming around, but about a week later he did unfortunately pass away. My husband and I realized some time ago that fish tanks just really aren't for us, especially huge fish tanks like that. Community tanks, we're just not good at it, and it had taken up a lot of time, and we just felt like the rest of the fish should be rehomed. So we did rehome those fish, but yeah. Goliath is the next animal that we got. You guys know how excited I was to get her because I wanted a Gargoyle Gecko for so long, and she's still doing great. She's still loving that bigger tank. When we put her in the bigger tank, it's like she went through a crazy growth spurt, which was really cool, and she even lets me get close to her now. She still does not want me to touch her, and I still don't want to attempt because she will bite, but she did let me get super close to take these pictures, so progress. Morty! He's grown so much too. He was tiny enough to fit in this deli cup, and now he is huge. As I've mentioned multiple times before, we will be upgrading his tank soon to a 4-foot long tank. This has become a bit of a challenge, and COVID-19 has set us back from getting that, but we are working on it. He will be in a bigger tank. He's not staying in that Exoterra for his whole life. He did just shed, that's why he's looking super bright and pretty, but yeah, that is Morty. Cersei, as I mentioned a couple weeks ago in my enclosure video, we had transferred Cersei to a bin because her tank that we designed leaked. The part where the valve was had started leaking, and this is actually the second time that that valve has leaked. The first time, the valve says on there that you don't need to use any kind of waterproof sealant, that the valve itself is going to seal it. It didn't, it leaked, so we ended up putting silicone around it, and it leaked again. So we had temporarily put her in a bin so that we could pull everything out and do a full resealing of the tank. But we realized once we had her in the bin that she really liked that bin. She's coming out, she's eating, she's climbing. She'll come out and wait by her food bowl on days that she's supposed to be getting fed. We assume that she feels a lot more secure in there because it is foggy, so she can't really see out of it. We will probably be upgrading her to a bigger bin just to give her a little bit more of of exploration space. But other than that, she's happy in there. So it doesn't look the best, but she likes it, so that's where she's at. Winter, if you guys remember, came from someone off of Craigslist, and it turns out he is a she. She is doing pretty good. She is currently on a fast. She has stopped eating for the last 3 months on her own. The last month we have been feeding her carnivore care, critical care, and so we ended up taking her to the vet. They did a fecal sample. She is parasite free. They did x-rays. They came back clean. There's no eggs. There's no impaction. So they think that this is kind of something that Percy went through, the same sort of leopard gecko puberty that happens with them where their bodies are changing, and so they get scared and they panic and they don't eat. So we are supposed to be not giving her any food, not even offering her food for the next 2 weeks, and then that should kickstart her into wanting to eat. Same thing happened with Percy, and once we did that, she started eating again. So I will update you guys on how that goes. Fingers crossed that everything's okay, because medically everything is perfect with her. Theon has grown. You can see how tiny he was there and how big he's gotten. I'm still guessing that he is a he because he's over a year old now, and I think he would have been much bigger now if he was a she. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not very well versed in the sexing of amphibians, but I'm pretty sure he's a he, and I'm pretty sure he's not going to get much bigger than this. His favorite food is still night crawlers, as you see here, and we still feed him with tongs because that's the only way he eats. As if his food is directly in front of his face. Yeah, that's about it on him. Handsome Jack, my beautiful little Betta fish. I got him from It's Anna Louise here on YouTube. We each, I think, had in a video of us meeting and her giving me that fishy, and he's doing so good. He was all white, and look at all of that black and blue. He has marbled so much. He turned 1 not too long ago, and he is making bubble nests, and he is getting aggressive towards me if I get close to his bubble nest. He's doing great. His tank needs to be cleaned, which is going to be done now. That Java moss is overgrowing like crazy. This is actually the very first successful planted tank that I have ever done, and I'm so excited about it. I am just trying to figure out if I need to trim that Java moss up some because it looks super crowded, but he really likes it. He likes swimming around it, and he likes laying on top of it. So I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do with that. But yeah, as you can see, his tank is doing wonderfully. Next is my pink-toed tarantula, and he is also still doing fantastic. Look at all that webbing. Last we talked about him, I talked about how I took the leaves out and it helped him find the crickets better. That was still such a wonderful move. He finds his crickets so fast now that those leaves are gone. I am having a little bit of a problem with the front of this tank just because sometimes crickets will leap into this section in the front and they get trapped there, but it's only happened a few times, so I just open the door and throw it back in there and it's been fine. If it becomes more of an inconvenience, I might stick some kind of barrier right there, but for right now everything's good, and I am so happy that I went with the acrylic tank for him, and he seems super happy with it too. Last is Midori, my baby green bottle blue. He molted! I don't know if he's a he or a she yet because I was not able to pull out that molt in time to see, because once he molted, he guarded it for days. He stayed on top of that molt for actual days while he was recovering from that. I don't know if he's male or female yet, so I guess we'll hopefully find out next time. But everything went perfectly, and he over doubled in size. He is so much bigger, which is so crazy. That is so fascinating to me how that works. But he molted and his appetite is back in full force, and he is just as fast moving as ever. So yeah, that is all of my little baby animals and how they're doing now. And that is it for this week's video. Hopefully you enjoyed seeing all the animals and getting updates on them. Again, thank you so much to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring the video. Make sure to go check out those links. And thank you guys so much for listening to my sponsors and participating in those sponsorships, because it really helps out the channel and it helps out the animals. So thank you guys for that. As always, if you're not already, please feel free to follow me on my other socials and like, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications every single time I put out a new video, which is every Sunday. This week's Instagram shout out goes to Bilbo Dragons for following me on Instagram and going through and liking a whole bunch of stuff. Awesome name, by the way. Thank you so much. You are the bee's knees. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye.